Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again. Hope you are doing well. Today we were rambling about the Animal Factory Bonesaw. It sounds like this. Okay, so what is it? 10 HP state variable filter. Usually when I think state variable filters, I think about you get to choose between the different filter modes, but in this case, that means we have 3 simultaneous outputs of low pass, band pass, and high pass, and frequency will control that. Now, I think if you're in, just to jump way ahead here, I think if you're in the, or if you're mixing all of the outputs at the same time, you can do some all-pass filtering wizardry, some amplitude modulation chaos with that. I'm not going to get into that today, I don't think, but just know that is the layout. And the other piece of the layout is 6 dB filter, 60 decibels per octave. Super unusual as far as I'm aware. Like, I think either 12 or 24 dB. 6 is a super interesting slope. However, what is also super interesting, it's super nasty. It's a wild one. And I had never even heard of this before. Mrs. Tafony got me this for my birthday, so thank you, Mrs. Tafony, for sponsoring this video. It's not sponsored, I'm just kidding. What better way to start this than throwing some sound at it? I think we'll just start with the triangle wave because it's super simple, super straightforward. We'll mix in the low pass. Level's good, check, check, check. So what we have is just the low pass. Drives at noon. You can use this as a VCA? No, you can't. Doesn't go all the way down. That's okay. I don't expect to filter out of the drive, and where I want to be with the drive is not in VCA territory. I want to be bumping that up. So triangle wave in, filter is at noon. Let's open it all the way up for a little bit of sweep. The resonance is all the way down. Low pass mode, sweep. And it has a unique sound to it that I've never, again, usually when it comes to modules for me, and I'm interrupting my demo, I'm sorry, but like you lust over something, you gas over it, you want it, you'll think about everything and convince yourself you don't need it or whatever, and then finally capitulate. This one, it's really interesting to just like dive into something completely blind here other than I'm excited. Made in India, which is really interesting. Like, I'm trying to think of anything other than my motorcycle that is I can think of that's made in India, and this sounds really cool. I think it's just, I've never tried anything. I mean, there's other cool pieces to it too, but I think I've never tried any 6 dB filters. I don't think I've ever tried anything less than 12 dB as far as I'm aware, but it just has a really unique slope to it. It's not super gooey, but let's bring in some resonance. I don't even know if this is analog or digital. And I looked in the manual and it didn't say either, so it must be digital, right? That's okay. I'm not a analog purist, that's for sure. So we're listening to low pass, resonance at 50. Let's just try, I don't know, square wave. to saw waves. Yeah, gotta be careful with the resonance, and that's totally fine. I like having like some filters I've tried over the years. Like when you have a lack of resonance is always a problem, and when it's too much resonance, it's never an issue because you can just dial in less. I don't know if maybe that 6 dB curve is just really unique, but I don't know. It sounds tasty. Just it has a like brittleness to it that's not. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws, sorry, but it has a brittleness to it that doesn't like. When I think of a good sounding filter, I'm always like, well, you just want it to be as liquid as possible, right? But there's something tasty there. I don't know what it is. Resonance up. And you see some little bit of wave shaping going on. Drive it up. Resonance down to more acceptable level. Alright, I'm not going to be in low pass mode all day, although I do think it is like the most important mode usually. Let's go into the bandpass mode. Let's go resonance all the way down. Drives at noon. And in the manual it says that this drive increases the amplitude of the whole filter, but I think this is input drive? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here goes the bandpass. I don't find I use bandpass too often, but it would be cool in this in this setup with multiple outputs to use that bandpass in a mix maybe. And then let's go to the high pass. Again, I don't really use the high pass so much, but oh. Hearing some craziness going on. Must be that filter curve that just like sounds super interesting. But what's even more interesting, and I didn't go through the drive section as much. Let's go bring the drive way down and go back to the bandpass because I didn't give you too much of a demo of the different drive modes. Just sweep it through. That actually sounds really nice with less drive. And bandpass mode. I think because it's just so aggressive, you need to back it off if you're going to use the more aggressive mode. Yeah. Very nice. Now what is, as if everything else wasn't interesting enough, let's go back. Let's just blend them all for fun. Two interesting things, well, there's lots of interesting things on here, but another interesting bit on here is you can expand this with, they have like a CV, I believe, or an intended for CV attenuator and mixer called the Vivisect. I'm actually familiar with that one. I watched a blush response video on it, but if you connect it via jumper in the back, you can kind of do what I'm doing with this VCA here and mix all the different outputs. And they call it as like they refer to it as like an EQ, but I think it's the same as doing this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to try and just do some mixing of all the simultaneous outputs, which seems really interesting to me. So what happens when you, I'll drive it up a little bit, but we'll do filter sweeps of this. You get some craziness going on. Go over to the triangle wave. That was our saw again. But what happens if I just crank the resonance on the You're just gonna get like random wave shapey peaks here on the scope, I think. Very cool. Crank them all up to 11. I think that's what they call all pass filtering, right? Resonance down, drive up. Now I haven't even got to the most interesting part about this all yet. We're going to go listen to just the low pass filter right now. And what it has that's really cool is not only FM phase, and I thought phase was like a misnomer for the attenuverter here being like, do you want your CV to go negative or positive? It won't do anything until I do send it something, but here, I'll show you with a patch. Okay, we're taking triangle wave out of mind phaser in LFO mode, and we'll do the FM in, and when you do that, you can drive it all the way you want, but if you don't send it anywhere, you won't hear any FM. Now if I send it positive phase, it'll start to put it out of phase with the signal. And you get into these crazy I want to say phase modulation, but it's not phase modulation because that's like a type of amplitude modulation. But this is something I've never had an experience with before. Because what I'm expecting is you do the same as like the frequency CV here, right? But it's not. It's FM phase modulation, but not that phase modulation. Modulation of the frequency modulation's phase. So if I go positive, it doesn't change anything on the frequency attenuverter and CV input here, but if we go to the FM in, FM phase mod here, and then the phase mod amount. Go up an octave or two. And this is so cool. Let's change pitch for fun. And I don't know if it's following this as if it's an oscillator or what the specifics of that are, but it sounds really cool. And even cooler yet, let's take out our external source and resonance go up a little bit. It has an internal FM modulation source, and I have no idea where this is coming from. Look at that wave shaping. Look at that. And if we send that positive and crank this up, I don't know. It's so in the manual. In the manual, it says this is coming from the bandpass circuit, which I don't understand. Like it's the frequency, and I'm not complaining because it sounds awesome. Look at the wave shape go. If we do less, if we put it negative, and do more, listen to that. Let's go. All right, let's send this a sequence. I will say, sorry, while I'm doing this, hear like a nice low-end thump going on. Is that a byproduct of the 6 dB? Except the resonance quite high. Let's go back into our triangle wave. Just because a little more oomph, you know? Scientific terms. So now, if I do full productive tracking, it doesn't have a full productive input, but I'm sure if I send it to the frequency CV. And because now I'm moving the filter, if that internal frequency modulation is based... Yes. What I was saying, sorry, if that internal modulation is based off of the frequency of the bandpass filter, then is that what's causing, or that's what decides the amount of the frequency modulation? I don't know. But listen. That's something I've never heard in a filter. Look at this wave shaping going on. Negative. Let's try if I blend in the bandpass. You get even more dirt in the most endearing way. It sounds really nice. Sorry. Let's go to our triangle wave. High pass filter. Not adding a whole lot, but let's just take the high pass out. Yeah. Oh. Drive it completely to resonance up. It's so unique. Let's take this out. Ooh. Low end, let's go Piston Honda. Yes. High pass only. I had never heard of this thing before. I didn't know what I was missing. Listen to this. There's just something to that treble. I don't know if it's like super low end or what, but the bite. I mean, the idea of getting bite out of a filter, like out of the phase mod itself, I don't know. Yeah. What else can we throw at this? Let's go Laquelic. High pass? I mean, that's high pass only, and with the phase mod, or the frequency mod, the frequency mod's being out of phase. It sounds so good. Alright, we're gonna bring in some drums and play us out, but man, this is how my heart rate looks right now. Alright, I'm Tafony. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that crap that YouTube is always on my case but not promoting to you. And I'll see you in the next video.